talks. This is Meenakshi. Welcome to yet another episode of Soccer Stories. Today, let's unfold the interesting events that took place during the 2002 World Cup.
O Lúcio disse uma coisa interessante. O Lúcio disse assim, o time dele chegou a intenção. Mas é muito difícil. Ele insiste, briga pela bola. Insiste o Ronaldinho pro Rivaldo. Abriu espaço, bateu pro gol. Oliver Kahn, Ronaldinho bateu.
Yul Rime had dreamed about the prospect of more than one country jointly hosting the World Cup. But as he sounded the idea to his colleagues in 1936, the third FIFA president was politely dissuaded from pressing his proposal. However, the fierce bidding war which erupted between Japan and South Korea for the hosting rights of the 2002 edition was what led FIFA to finally make a compromise. The world body by itself was rocked by dissensions as it looked forward to give away the rights to hold the first World Cup in the new millennium. FIFA's call for bids saw Japan, South Korea and Mexico, already a two-time host, putting up separate bids. And what followed was an unprecedented struggle, what with the two Asian nations aggressively spending millions in a massive and expensive public relations blitz. FIFA President Joe Haviland seemed to root for Japan, but this war strongly European Confederation led by its president Lennart Johansson, who was vocally eloquent on his support to South Korea. The Asian Football Confederation was initially neutral, happy with the fact that the World Cup was coming to the largest continent at long last. But what with the uncompromised stand of both Japan and South Korea threatening to tear up FIFA itself, the AFC did finally step in to work out the formula with Johansson that the two countries be given the right to host the global event jointly. In all fairness, both Japan and South Korea thereafter worked as one to make the World Cup a success, which indeed it was, and ended with Brazil complete a historic penta at the expense of Germany in Yokohama. China, Ecuador, Senegal and Slovenia came into the World Cup as first-timers. The tournament by itself was littered by a lot upsets and surprises, what with defending champions France being knocked out at the end of the first round. And then again, the fate of Argentina too was not different as it made its exit by the end of the group stage. Co-host South Korea became the first Asian country to make it to the World Cup semi-finals, enjoying a fairy tale run as it scalped three giants in Portugal, Italy and Spain in back-to-back matches while getting into the round of last four. Another highlight of the tournament was Turkey's Hakan Şükür scoring the fastest World Cup of just 10 to 8 seconds in the losers final against South Korea. The tournament in Asia was also the last one to use the golden goal rule introduced 4 years earlier. Senegal, which was under the yoke of French rule for long and gained independence only in 1960, really did well as it conquered its former rulers in style. Of course, Zinedine Zidane was injured with a hamstring pull, but still the mighty French, the reigning champion, had no reason to go down in the Group A match, fell by a peach of a goal by Bouba Diop in the 30th minute. The agony of the French continued, being held to a goalless draw by Uruguay next and then losing to Denmark, exited out of the tournament shamefully without even scoring a single goal. Senegal, after opening with such a bang, thereafter were involved in drawn encounters with both Uruguay and Denmark and made it to the round of last 16 behind the Danes who topped the group. Spain advanced from Group B with an all-win record. Central to Spain's dominance in the group was the form shown by Raul, who finally carried his club form into the World Cup. The striker struck thrice in the group stages as Spain made an impressive entry into the second round. Paraguay edged out South Africa for the second place after having scored more goals than the Africans. Debutants Slovenia lost all their matches to bow out of the tournament. Brazil also won all their matches in Group C, but the South Americans were made to sweat by Turkey in the first match. Brazil enjoyed better chances, but the Turks' enigmatic keeper Rashtu Rekber kept them at the bay. Turkey's gusty display was rewarded in the injury time when Hakan Şükür lashed them ahead. The Brazilian response was swift in the second half with the Rivaldo-Ronaldo combine bringing in the equalizer. Turkey held firm despite the best efforts from Brazil until Alpe brought down Luizão inside the box. Rivaldo increased the lead from the spot while Alpe was sent off. Brazil hammered China 4-0 and Ronaldo struck a brace in the 5-2 win over Costa Rica as the South Americans moved into the second round in style. Turkey finished second after pipping Costa Rica on goal difference. In Group C, Portugal, with its golden generation of players, was considered as a dark horse. Portugal came to the World Cup on the strength of their good show in the Euro 2000 where they narrowly lost to France in the semi-finals. However, USA pulled out a surprise defeating Portugal 3-2 in a fast-paced encounter. Host South Korea scored their first win in the history of the World Cup by beating Poland 2-0. South Koreans continued to impress, holding USA to 1-1 draw, while a hat-trick by Pauleta had the Portuguese campaign back on track with a 4-0 win over Poland. Portugal needed to win their last match against South Korea to qualify, but before a full house in Incheon, the Europeans stuttered and Park Ji-sung scored the winning goal in the 17th minute. Portugal was eliminated even as Poland grabbed a consolation win over the Americans. South Korea topped the group with 7 points, while USA with 4 points also made it into the knockout round. In Group E, a new-look German side under Rudi Völler started with a 8-0 win over Saudi Arabia, with Miroslav Klose scoring a hat-trick. But the Germans were made to work hard by Ireland in their 1-0 win. Klose scored in the 19th minute and it took a lot of pluck for Germans to preserve their lead. Germany topped the group, prevailing over Cameroon 2-0. Ireland, which drew both their matches against Germany and Cameroon, downed Saudi Arabia to qualify. Group F was effectively the group of death, which pitted Argentina, England, Sweden and Nigeria. There was so much hype around the England-Argentina encounter, which was billed as a grudge match, with the English suffering painful defeats in the 1986 and 1990. The match was scaggy at the start, but slowly the English began to assert themselves. Michael Owen was stinging the Argentinian defense like a bee. Owen was put through by Nicky Butt and the Liverpool man shot between goalkeeper Pablo Cavallero's legs only for the ball to rebound off the post. Owen won a penalty in the 44th minute when he was stripped by Mauricio Pochettino and David Beckham stepped in to take the spot kick and excise the ghost which had haunted him since 1998. England's superior defense held the Argentinians at bay in the second half as it won over Argentina after a long wait of 36 years. Argentina, which had started off with a 1-0 win over Nigeria, now started at an early elimination as Sweden, with a win over Nigeria, climbed to the top of the table. Argentina needed to beat Sweden in their final match to qualify, but the South Americans never looked capable of doing that and were lucky to escape with a 1-1 draw. England and Nigeria played out a goalless draw and former qualified as a second-place team from the group. Co-host Japan qualified from Group H to the second round for the first time ever. The hosts held powerful Belgium to a 2-2 draw and beat Russia and Tunisia to win their group. Belgium warded off Russia 3-2 in a frantic last quarter, which saw 3 goals being scored. Belgium qualified as the runner-up. The knockouts were marked by controversies and questionable refereeing decisions. Host South Korea's win attracted more eyeballs as both Italy and Spain had genuine reasons to feel aggrieved. During the quarter-final match against South Korea, Spain had 2 goals disallowed for offside, which appeared to be too harsh. In the Germany-USA encounter, the US was denied a penalty when Torsten Fringe appeared to have handled the ball on the goal line. However, the referee refused to give it, leading to strong protest from the US players. USA, Senegal and South Korea upset the form book to enter the quarterfinals. USA beat their neighbours 2-0, while newcomers Senegal prevailed over Sweden 2-1 in extra time. But it was South Korea's upset win over Italy which surprised many. The match was noted for several controversial decisions given by Ecuadorian referee Byron Moreno. The Koreans were left off with mere warning for blatant fouls while the Italians were penalized. Totti was sent off for a questionable dive and it reduced Italy to 10 men during extra time. The match also saw Italians denied a goal for a marginal offside decision. Moreno awarded a penalty to South Korea in the 3rd minute but Buffon denied An Jung-hwan. Christian Vieri headed Italy ahead in the 18th minute. The Koreans persisted backed by a strong crowd and generous help from match officials. Seol K-hyun equalized in the 88th minute and pushed the match into extra time. An Jung-hwan grabbed the winner in 117th minute, sending South Korea into the quarterfinals for the first time. In the quarterfinals, England met Brazil in a high-profile clash in Shizuoka. A defensive error by Lucio saw Michael Owen latch onto the ball and open the scoring for England in the 23rd minute. However, England's famed defence was sliced open by a little magic by Ronaldinho in the injury time. The midfielder weaved his way into the box and threaded a pristine cross for Rivaldo to score the equaliser. Early in the second half, Ronaldinho curled in a free kick over David Seaman's head to put Brazil ahead in the 50th minute. 9 minutes later, Ronaldinho was sent off for a stamping an English player. South Korea created history as it defeated Spain controversially on penalties to enter the semi-finals for the first time. The Spanish had 2 goals disallowed and the 5-3 defeat had Spanish coach gesturing angrily at the officials. Turkey made into the semi-finals scoring a 1-0 win over Senegal in extra time. There were no comebacks for South Korea in the semi-final as Balak's 75th minute ended their dream. South Korea created history as it defeated Spain controversially on penalties to enter the semi-finals for the first time. The Spanish had 2 goals disallowed and the 5-3 defeat had Spanish coach gesturing angrily at the officials. Turkey made into the semi-finals scoring a 1-0 win over Senegal in extra time. There were no comebacks for South Korea in the semi-final as Balak's 75th minute ended their dream. Brazil entered their 3rd straight final with 1-0 win over Turkey with Ronaldo scoring the goal of a counter-attack. The final between traditional powers Brazil and Germany failed to rise up to the expectations. The attacking moments from the Germans were rare in the first half while Brazil enjoyed possession and had more of the cracks at the goal. Ronaldinho, back from suspension, put Ronaldo clear twice but the striker was unable to score on both the occasions. Ronaldo enjoyed another chance in the dying stages of the first session but was denied by the ever-alert Oliver Kahn under the German bar. The Germans came up with a much better display in the second half. A long-range free kick from Newell in the 49th minute hit the Brazil post. However, a mistake from Kahn allowed Ronaldo to score the opening goal. Ronaldo did a 1-2 with Rivaldo and the latter crashed a searing left-footer which Kahn couldn't stop properly. Ronaldo made amends for his earlier lapse by getting the rebound into the back of the net. Ronaldo scored again in the 78th with a long ranger from top of the box as Brazil won an unprecedented 5th title. Turkey edged out South Korea 3-2 to finish 3rd. The match being notable for the historic effort of Hakan Suka and his fastest goal ever. Stay tuned to Striking Seconds for more soccer stories and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel. Hasta la vista.